Yep.
And that's different from North Jersey.
Yes.
Do you care to elaborate?
So Southwest New Jersey is basically a suburb of Philadelphia, and it's got a lot of that personality to it. South Jersey, actual South Jersey, is pretty much the South. It's not that different from Alabama or Louisiana.
Okay.
And it's very different from Northern Jersey, which is closer to a suburb of New York City.
Gotcha. See? Now all is clear.
Yeah. Jersey means a lot of different things.
Trust me, I know. Seder Wayfinder are going to start things off here for Rob. He picked up a copy of Opulent Palace. Here's a Thoughtseize from Danny. You'll see Rob's hand here. He's got to dig through time, a Languish, another Seder Wayfinder, a Sultai Charmer, Polluted Delta, and that Opulent Palace. Dig through time will be the selection here from Jessup. His round number 10 is underway this morning from Richmond.
These are tough decks to pick apart with Thoughtseize because they are so redundant. And Den Protector is a big part of that as well.
An attack here for 1. Jessup will go down to 17. Another Seder Wayfinder here from Vaughan, a Den Protector, a Temple of Deceit, a Hero's Downfall, and a Temple of Malady. Vaughan will very quickly select that Temple of Deceit. That'll enter the battlefield. Here's a Scry. Take a look at the top card. It'll stay on top. We're going to head back Danny Jessup's way. Jessup again on a mulligan to 4 here. He's only got 1 land. All he can do is pass the turn, so it might be a short game. Opulent Palace is the land that Vaughan will play. He'll attack for 2 with the Seder Wayfinders. The follow-up is a Morph. It's a Den Protector. Pass that turn back, we'll Vaughan over to Jessup. Jessup will draw.
Rob already in position to get back the dig through time and recast it. Pretty good start.
Making it look pretty easy as Ugin is the draw step.
I've always enjoyed my wins on the house to start off the day.
Hey, it's all part of a tournament. Polluted Delta will be sacrificed here by Vaughan. Islander, a Swamp on the way. He'll get a basic island, and a beautiful one at that. Here come the beatdowns. And Jessup's going to pick up his 1 permanent and go home. See, just like that, boom, welcome to Magic.
He even topped at to land that turn. I mean, he had at least 1 more draw.
Hasty concession by Danny Jessup.
Owen Turnwald not conceding in that spot.
No.
He's gonna play that Temple of Silence, and he's gonna think a while about that scry.
Grind him down.
Grind him down.
Get your time in the camera area. Robert Vaughan does win game number 1 here against Danny Jessup. Sultai control very quickly up a game. Over Rob's on control, given a mulligan to 5. Danny's got an idea what Rob is playing. You have to imagine the same on the other side. So we'll take a look at Danny's sideboard first. He's got 2 Duresses, 2 Drowning Sorrows, 2 Arishan Clerics, a Dramoka's Command, a Johnny Mentor of Heroes, a Garrick Apex Predator, and Ugin the Spirit Dragon. More 1-ofs and Ultimate Price, Murderous Cut, Tragic Arrogance, Read the Bones, and Glare of Heresy.
Danny's got a lot of good cards here to settle in for a mid-range / control type of matchup. I think the Read the Bones, the extra Tragic Arrogance, the Planeswalkers, all of them can come in here. Ugin, Garrick, and Ajani, and the 2 copies of Duress. I think this is some pretty straightforward sideboarding.
What do we see on Rob's side?
2 copies of Tassiger, the Golden Fang, a Thoughtseize, 3 copies of Feed the Clan, 2 Drowned Sorrow, a Disdainful Stroke, 2 Negates, 2 copies of Ashiok, a Bioblight, and a Slumgar, the Drifting Death. I think we're going to see the 2 copies of Ashiok come in, the 2 copies of Negate, the Disdainful Stroke, the Thoughtseize, 2 copies of Tassiger, and 1 copy of Slumgar if he suspects that Elspeth is in Danny's list. Much the same strategy here as Danny's going to have, which is get in some clean answers, discard counter spells, and a better top end with Planeswalkers or threats like Tassiger.
Both players have a lot of options.
Yes, a lot of good options.
And we don't expect a particularly short match. I mean, these are 2 control decks that really do grind opponents down, so the fact that the first game only took 5 minutes is rather surprising.
Right. I mean, only 1 person was playing, so you're gonna have that sometimes.
That will occur sometimes.
That speeds it up.
So we should have plenty of time to finish games 2 and 3 here between Vaughan and Jessup. In the meantime, we will talk about the Season 3 schedule here on the Open Series, which of course did start with the Modern Grand Prix in Charlotte. That was won by Michael Malone. We had an Open Series in Indianapolis. That was won by Eric Rill. Then we went to Baltimore, and that was won by Andrew Boswell. And finally in Chicago last weekend, Ton Wynn, in the debut of Magic Origins, got the job done with Green Red Devotion. Now we're here in Richmond, where we'll have a champion soon enough. It could be one of these 2 players in the feature match area right now, and there's no telling what'll win in Legacy.
Exactly. Now, we're going to take a week off after Richmond here for the regionals. You can head over to StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information on that event. Legacy Open Series in DC, then a standard Grand Prix in London. We head back to Charlotte for a Modern Open Series event, and then the Season 3 Invitational in New Jersey not Long Island, not Staten Island, New Jersey. Standard and Legacy is the invitational format with a 2-day, $20,000 Standard Open Series event, August 28th through the 30th.
Just ridiculous. Of course, for Season 3, the Tastic per the Golden Paw playmat is available with your main event entry. So there are only a few events left here in Season 3. So if you'd like to get this fantastic playmat, come, hang out, sign up for the main event, and you'll get one of these free of charge.
Not for the first X people who register. We don't mail it to you after the event. No, nothing. You get this for free anytime you sign up for one of the 2-day, $20,000 main event open series in Season 3.
I just want to clarify, it's New Jersey?
New Jersey.
It's New Jersey, okay.
Close to Staten Island because we're going to be in Edison / Woodbridge. Not particularly close to Long Island, but in New Jersey.
Very passionate about New Jersey.
Because it turns you into a weird bundle of insecurities if you're from there.
No,
because
it turns you into a weird bundle of
like
insecurities.
It's like it's unique to me.
It's you that it does this to.
Every early Springsteen album is him articulating a weird bundle of insecurities because of where he's from. It's not uncommon.
I've never listened to Springsteen, so
you're missing out.
I probably am. Take your word for that.
I recommend the Nebraska album.
I'll keep that in mind for later.
Yeah.
For later on my flight home. Sansom Citadel and Caves of Koilos is how Danny Jessup will start things. Rob Vaughan with a Temple of Mystery. We'll see what land number 2 is as we get ready for what will likely be a longer game than game number 1, as he'll sacrifice a polluted delta. Island or swamp on the way. Rob will go ahead and search up a swamp. And now, here is a Jace. Going to put Jessup to the test right away to see if he has an answer.
Better kill it, Danny.
Pretty much.
Better kill it.
There's a basic forest. Third land is here. Is there a Hero's Downfall to be cast?
You know, I talked about in the first game that I'm not a huge fan of Thoughtseize in this matchup. Now, I'm not saying you're supposed to side it out necessarily, but these decks are so redundant and have a lot of 2-for-1s built in. It makes it hard to pick apart hands with Thoughtseize. That's a lot different when you have Jace. Flashbacking Thoughtseize off of Jace makes it such a different animal on Rob's side of the table than it is on Danny's.
There's Nissa, searches up a basic. But Vaughn has access to Jace now. Going to start by playing a polluted delta. Sacrifice that. 2 cards in the graveyard. 3 to go to flip Jace. There's another swamp. And again, in this deck, it does not take very much to flip Jace at all. Here's a Thoughtseize. That's card 3 in the graveyard. You'll find a Duress, an Abzan Charm, a Den Protector, and a couple of lands here in Plains Forest and Llanowar Waste.
This will almost certainly be Den Protector. Best card to try to attack in this kind of matchup. Game goes on for a long time. Players have a lot of time to play Den Protector and unmorph it.
Just want to slow that down, probably.
Unless there's some pressing, immediate need to take something else, it's just Den Protector.
Well, we'll see what Vaughn does decide as he's looking through his hand. Has a card like Disdainful Stroke here. Also has Ugin in hand. Yep, there goes Den Protector. Not too surprising. Vaughn will just pass the turn back.
I make the analogy a lot to Snapcaster Mage in Modern. Unless there's some pressing need, by pressing I mean something bad's going to happen literally next turn, you just need to be taking that card with your discard spells if you're playing a long game.
Nissa coming into the red zone. Vaughn going to go down to 14. And Jessup currently in the lead as far as life totals are concerned. There's a basic Plains. Yeah, looks like Jessup might be setting up for an Abzan Charm here momentarily. We'll start by casting Duress. You'll see a hand here with Ashiok, Disdainful Stroke, an Ugin, an Island, and a Llanowar Waste.
See, I don't like this play from Rob. I think that Rob should have looted in response to this Duress, because now if he loots, he flips the Jace, as opposed to looting now, untapping, looting again, and then flipping Jace.
Sure.
And I don't think any one card in his hand is so good that it's worth waiting on the loot.
Plenty of cards to discard here.
Right. So if he loots in response, then he goes to card number 4 in the graveyard. Then Duress resolves. That's number 5, but Jace is already resolved. And then he gets to untap and loot one more time before flipping Jace. So I would have responded there with a loot to the duress.
Well, he's looting right now. He's going to discard Ugin, so this is going to transform Jace into the Telepath Unbound. Going to start with 5 counters. He'll untap. He'll take a draw step here. Yavimaiakos is what he's found. Jace is going to take down. And a flashback of Thoughtseize. Danny going to cast an Abzan Charm in response. So he'll take some damage to draw a couple cards here. Thoughtseize and Abzan Charm appears as what is drawn. To go along with some lands in a forest, a Sandstep Citadel and Llanowar Waste. Pretty easy choice probably with the Abzan Charm.
Yep. And Rob's done a nice job of looting away his spells to hit his land drops and protect himself from discard. Eventually he'll find Dig Through Time or a Den Protector to get back or find something good. So in the meantime, just make those discard spells as bad as possible. Get rid of your expensive stuff. You'll get to it later. I like that sequencing from Rob.
Llanowar Waste is the land, which will allow Vaughan to actually cast his Hero's Downfall on Nissa to protect his Jace. So that's exactly what he's going to do. And he passes the turn back with a Jace on board. Jessup with not much going on outside of a Thoughtseize in hand. Oh, the draw step could be a pretty good one here for Danny. I just drew a copy of Temple of Malady. There's a Temple. Top card going to stay on top for Jessup. Satyr Wayfinder of the draw.
Combo with Jace.
Accurate. Jace is going to take up for now. Now he'll play the Wayfinder. Jace is 1. Dig Through Time is 2. Opulent Palace is 3. Thoughtseize is 4.
I was just about to mention this Wayfinder can find something like Dig Through Time, and then you flash it back with Jace if you want to.
Yeah, it gets to flash it back next turn now that it's on 3 counters, so this is going to be pretty deadly. Vaughan will play an island. He'll pass the turn back. Jace demonstrating its power once again. Abzan Charm the draw. Jessup going to cast that immediately. Pay 2 life, peel 2 cards. So Jessup can get himself out of this situation. Jace is really having a huge impact on this game. He has a Hero's Downfall. That's important.
Yeah, next turn Rob was going to be able to flash back either another discard spell or Dig Through Time, and that might have been just too much for Danny to overcome.
Well, Rob will draw Dig Through Time.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, going to do that. What does it matter, you know?
That doesn't matter too much at all. Here comes Satyr Wayfinder in for 1. Jessup going to go down to 12. And Jessup will draw. Picked up a copy of Thoughtseize. Actually, fairly timely here. He'll cast it. Go down to 10. Vaughan will likely dig in response. So we'll have to delve away a couple of cards here. The Dig Through Time is resolving. So we'll take a look at the top 7. Of course, take 2 with him. Nothing very exciting there. Copy of Jace, 2 Satyr Wayfinders.
It's like Jason Murderous Cut were the cards found.
I think so. The rest will go to the bottom. Yep, Jace, Murderous Cut, Disdainful Stroke, and a Yavimaiakos. Those are what Jessup gets to choose from. I think a pretty easy choice there with Jace.
I think having a 2-mana creature that's worthy of a Thoughtseize at this stage of the game against Disdainful Stroke and Murderous Cut. I mean, what a card in these kind of matchups.
Haven of the Spirit Dragon is the draw. Here's an attack for 1. Vaughan does have his Ugin in the graveyard as well. He'll play Yavimaiakos, conceal the fact that he has a Haven, which I think is smart.
Yep, he's only going to 7 mana this turn anyway, so there's no real rush to play the Haven. You want to play that as land number 8 to conceal the information for as long as possible.
Temple of Malady was the draw last turn for Jessup. He'll put that card on top. Den protected the draw here for Vaughan. That's a big one, as there's an attack for 1. Haven of the Spirit Dragon is the land. A Morph Den Protector will be the play. And a lot of things for Vaughan to choose from in his graveyard. Jessup will untap. He'll draw. Remember, he kept this card on top, so he knows what it is. Though didn't get a great look at it. He doesn't look thrilled with what's happening right now either. That Den Protector has certainly changed some things.
Yeah, I mean, Danny right now is just getting worked. I mean, he's had the Absalom Charms that's helped keep his head above water here, but Jace has been problematic. I mean, Robert just has another card in the deck that requires a removal spell and generates value along the way, and it's only 2 mana. And to me, that's the difference right now. Robert's gotten value out of his Jaces, and it's required answers from Danny. Compare that to something like Courser Krufix, which is sort of the analogy in terms of it's a slow card to generate some value. Robert can just ignore that card at various points in the game. Jace requires an answer at all times.
There's a Thoughtseize, takes care of the Disdainful Stroke. Jessup will play Garruk Apex Predator.
I mean, I assume this will result in a Disdainful Stroke coming back.
Yeah, it feels like Unmorphed Den Protector, get back, Disdainful Stroke, counter that might be the best line of play here for Vaughan.
Rob does have the option to dig through time, I guess. That feels a little fancy to me.
Looks like he's just going to let this resolve.
I suppose that means that Rob is planning on flashing back dig through time.
There's some interesting options available here for Vaughan.
I guess he can just pick up the Ugin.
Yeah. He's clearly got a plan in mind.
Yes.
Which is return this, get back dig. Because he had the option to counter that Garruk and he chose not to. So clearly he has something in mind. We will find out soon enough what that is. Right now it's cast dig through time. He'll of course delve some cards away. Ugin is one card I cannot imagine will be delved. Simply because of the Haven of the Spirit Dragon on the battlefield.
Wants to maintain maximum flexibility with future dig through times.
Which he just found another one, along with Disdainful Stroke and Hero's Downfall. And looks like those are the cards he'll take.
Yeah,
dig and Downfall.
This feels pretty straightforward to me.
Yep. Now he'll untap very quickly and draw a card. Opulent Palace is what he's found. He'll attack Jessup for 1. Downfall on the way. That'll take care of Garruk. Dig and cut in hand. And this is the true advantage that this deck gets, is it's able to play these very powerful cards, but they're always going to be cheap because of how well it fills up its graveyard. In this deck, the graveyard is truly an extension of your hand. Haven of the Spirit Dragon going to return Ugin. Vaughan very quickly untap. He'll draw a card. He'll attack for 1. Salumgar, the Drifting Death, was the draw. Here is Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. He'll use that. Going to go upstairs with, you have to imagine, going to put Jessup down to 3. Jessup will draw a card. Might be his last one of the match, and it is. Rob Vaughan's going to win this match over Danny Jessup, 2-0. Sultai Control will take care of Abzan Control, and for Vaughan, his only loss this weekend was a concession to Andrew Jessup as the match went to time. So Sultai Control, if it's a deck you're interested in, he's having a great tournament with it.
We see this recipe a lot in the black control matchups where there's a lot of discard post board and a lot of little 2-for-1s like Read the Bones and Abzan Charm going around. So people's hands get torn up pretty quickly, and then it's just who plays better off the top of their deck. I think Rob's got a big edge there because he has Jace, which necessitates an answer, Dig Through Time, which is always a huge draw off the top, and his Haven allows his Ugin to also qualify as a big draw, even if it gets hit with a discard spell early on in the game like we saw there.